Hello there and welcome. In this video I got you 10 tips and tricks for the best builds for the Legionnaire in Soulstone Survivors. We're going to analyze the identity of this character, go over all his options, go over the build variants you have available with his weapons, and I hope that by the end of this video you will enjoy this character a little bit more than before. So, first up, number one, what's our keyword pool composed out of? So the Legionnaire is really all over the place. That's the first thing that I noticed. We have a concoction of physical abilities, magical abilities, we have different elements available, we have missiles, we have so many different things that we even got a little bit of summoning. So overall, this guy is really the tanky jack-of-all-trades fighter type. So you got a lot of different options, and specialization is very, very important for this character because you are able to just walk yourself by just picking too many different things that don't work well together. What is a common denominator, though, is that we are working a lot with spear skills. Spear skills are on your equipment, and they are also making a large portion of our general skill pool. Now, number two, buffs. So when it comes down to self-buffing, we have quite some options. For one, form is around on so many things. This is just critical chance. Combines really excellent with lightning, more about that in a hot minute. And we also have quite plentiful access to haste. There's a couple of skills that can provide, and haste is just providing movement speed, which is never a bad thing. Also, we have a little bit of resilience and bulwark in our kit, so a little bit of armor power and block power is also included, but the majority lies in form. So plus critical hit chance is something that you really get a lot by alongside with these skills. On the debuff side of things, obviously we have poison at our disposal and fire, so we have strong damage over time availabilities. We also happen to have chaos, so disarray is an option. You also get some really badass tanks out of that. And you also can expose the enemy with... where was it? We also have one exposed skill, but... no. We don't have exposed because we don't have light, my bad. Oh no, here, one of them, the spear skills also have exposed. I knew I saw that. So, exposure, damage, intake, increase, just the same as disarray. These are the options that we got with, yeah, spear trap also has that, with a option for bleed hidden in between the flurry. So, altogether, you have a lot of damage amplifiers. With lightning, you have distraction and daze, which increases the amount of intake and taken damage. And we also have a pretty high density of this minus chance to hit thing, which eventually can stack up to quite high numbers as well. So, number four, your Ascension Skill. So, for the Legionnaire, we get to pick up 6 people that lie around on the battlefield, resurrect them, and become very, very powerful after doing so. This is a really nice thing. For one, you gain a lot of armor power out of that, and a little bit of damage extra, and 6 summons that are really hidden hard. These guys are really powerful, and the only downside is that you always have a certain downtime on these, because once you have resurrected them, you have a 40-second uptime, and then there is a break between the skill going out and the next 6 people spawning somewhere to resurrect them yet again. So, altogether, a very, very powerful Ascension skill whose biggest offset is that you can't have it available permanently, but if you time it well, this is really brutally strong, because seriously, those summons are quite impressively powerful, and they can be upgraded after being quite impressive off the bat. So, let's talk with number 5 about character identity and where you are located at. So, gotta say, this guy is really inherently very, very tanky. This was something that I immediately noticed, and when I looked up the stats, I wasn't surprised at all. We have extra health, extra armor, and flat damage reduction. The costs are relatively low. The lowered critical chance is no problem because we are teaming with critical chance increasers, and the area modifier, that's just one upgrade. So the downsides of this character class are very, very mild, in my opinion at least. The biggest downside that is basically invisible here is the fact that you are tanky, but your damage profile inherently isn't amplified by these stats. So that's the only bad thing to say. So, number 6. Identity-wise, this guy resides somewhere between a fighter or a mage, if you want to concoct him that way, but his weapons really are always more notched towards physical, and a minion master. Interestingly enough, if you are going for the lightning build, you even have directly a real summoning skill. Your passive, or Ascension Skill, is always providing you with summons, and with Chaos Golem and Power Conductor, you have even more options to go into summoning. The real fun part here is that you are hard to kill, and you get all those extra targets that can take the pressure off of you, and you even have really decent abilities to buff up your own allies with Shield Wall, Chaos's Bloodlust. There's really options that you can take to make your minions even more powerful. This is an option that I want to stress out so much, because the Ascension Skill shoehorns us mandatorily into minions. Therefore, might as well consider taking that into account for your builds. Now, with that all being said, let's move on over to number 7 and let's talk about builds. So, the first build that I want to introduce is a armor and form heavy build. The interesting part is that you here get with the Shield Bash an ability whose damage is multiplied by your armor power, which is quite amazing. So that means with this build, you can easily go into a critical hit focused stance and just pick up armor in between. Honorable mention goes to Shield Wall, which will increase your armor power quite substantially, and additionally, due to the fact that you are adding in form already, lightning goes quite hard as well, because you already have the ability to do nice crits, so might as well add things like Lightning Surge or Lightning Bolt that interact with that quite nicely. Keep in mind though that you don't have too many sources of daze in this build. Most of your lightning skills actually either stun or distract. So Lightning Surge is a good fit for that build, but the rest of them are not as much. You really want to try to get the most out of the armor power, and then, yeah, critical hits. It shows that this is the common weapon. I found this build, even after tweaking back and forth a lot, not really too satisfying. Things get a lot better with number 8 when we head on over to the second weapon set. Here we have a lightning build, which is really, really cool. For one, we have a distracting base attack, and the other thing is we have summons that inflict daze. That means we get to inflict a lot of critical hits here. I strongly recommend to stick at least to Lightning Surge, and from that point on, you can pretty much free choose which weapon type you want to accompany this with. Spears go pretty nice because you already have things that increase your critical hit chance, and I personally recommend something that adds in form, and yeah, your spear skills all do that, which makes a really, really powerful synergy with the increased critical chance that you already got. Or alternatively, you go heavier into the debuff strengths of the distraction, or you do both. It's up to you. Either way, this build is really fun because it can go extremely hard into crit while being at the same time very, very powerful in the defenses, because you got all those summons. You can also add in a Chaos Golem and add in Disarray. Goes really well with crits too. Many options. Now, number 9, a poison build. This one is insofar interesting as it adds in Vigor, which is a pretty rare buff, and it explodes poison stacks with the Purging Slam. So here we have a build that wants to stack up poison as high as possible and then detonate them. Never think that it would be a bad detonation, because the instant damage done, as you see here, its base damage is already double the amount of the regular procs, which is amazing. So with this build, you can just flex into all the poison stacks that you can get. Strongly recommend to go into weakness as well, because, you know, if we are already at the damage over time front, might as well go there as well. And Pestilence, also really nice. This build pairs up quite nicely with Chaos, because the Chaotic trait is offering you a multicast in disguise, or you add in Fire for even more damage over time. Up to you. But Fire, number 10, is the next topic, so you might be wanting to combine that with something else. So, the last weapon set is pretty nice, as it inflicts Burn and Shatter and Form. So we have lowered enemy defenses, heightened crits, and damage over time. This is in so far quite interesting, as we have therefore really a lot of options how we combine that. We can, my personal opinion is the ideal form here goes into a switch of Fire combined with all of the spear skills that add in extra form, and then keep whacking. You have a very high crit, you have very high damage over time, and the enemy's armor will be shattered. So this is a really strong combination that, yeah, really goes nice with just physical damage on the side. So altogether, the Legionnaire is a very powerful and easy to play character whose biggest challenge lies in making a build that gets damage out and cranks up the numbers accordingly, because it is easy to overlook the heavy crit focus that this character class has. It has so many sources of form, and there's a reason for that, because with all the extra crit chances that you got, you can really make it hit like a truck. Alternatively, the damage over time builds that you have on the later end here are also quite impressive and powerful. I do like the fact that you always have an army around you, and if you just flex a little bit into Chaos Golem, you already have a really nice distraction, which keeps you alive, tanks for you, and yeah. I like this character, very easy to pick up, much potential, only downside, no innate access to healing, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you feel like I missed a spot or there's something you might want to add on into. Feel free to leave a like, leave a subscribe, consider donating. YouTube channel memberships are always appreciated, or any other form of support. Many thanks to all of you who do support the channel, and a big thanks especially to you for watching this video up until the very end. Deeply appreciate you taking that time, and I hope you will find something useful in between, and see you next time.